Sorry, it's been a long day. Hey, everybody! It was Free Comic Book Day, but sadly I missed out on it, because turns out it actually happened at about 11 o'clock this morning, and while it was going on, I was at work. Had I have known, I wouldn't have, because basically the night before, last night, while I was at work, my boss walked up to me and said, "Hey, you want to work tomorrow morning?" And here I was, looking forward to the weekend, like, "Oh, yeah, and best of all, like, it's Free Comic Book Day." And I've never actually gotten to participate in Free Comic Book Day. I do still read comics, just not a lot of them. I've never really been a big comic book guy. I mean, I do enjoy them, when they're good and if they're related to a character that I really like. So, I was hoping to participate, and I ran on down to my local Hastings, which also sells a shit ton of comics. And sadly found out when I went to the register with 7 different comic books that happened this morning, so I missed out. But they do a free subscription thing where you can get access to past comics or certain comics that you want. I don't know if you get a discount or anything like that. I'll try to find out more. So, because right now the only new comics that I'm interested in, or at least that I was interested in, like, I really, really liked the Ninja Turtle reboot that they did. I think they started doing last year, where basically they combined a lot of the new and a lot of the old together, and I thought they did a great job with that. And hell, I mean, the fact that one of the original creators was actually helping in writing it was pretty awesome. And and I thought it was pretty good. And I liked a lot of what they've been doing with their own with some of the miniseries that they've been doing, where basically they just talk about particular characters, namely a lot of the villains. So I'm going to show off some of the new comics that I bought today. I bought like 7 of them, because it was a thing of like, oh, you can get 10 comics for free. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just pick out anything that really catches my eye, and then I'll read through it, because, hey, it's free. So, turns out none of them were free. So, but one other new comic that I read that, and I've been a fan of this character for a long time, but a lot of his comics have been real hit or miss. There have really only been, and that character is Ghost Rider. There have really only been 2 comics that I've really loved of Ghost Rider. And that was the very first one that I read, where it was all about him storming the building of this evil corporation called themselves the Firm, and it was, just him and Archangel, who was also helping out. It was a crossover event, and Ghost Rider is storming this building, and there's all these military guys in this high-tech, high-powered military armor and these big-ass guns, and they're blasting the shit out of him, to the point where his jacket is just gone, and he's, got bullet-riddled legs and shit, but he's still just moving, and he just plows right through them, and it was just awesome. It was like, oh my god, this character's a fucking badass. And then every other comic I read about Ghost Rider after that, they treated him like he was a complete and utter pussy. And there have been a few other times I've seen where there was a big crossover event that happened a while ago in Marvel. I think this was before the big reboot, or while it was going on. There was a big crossover event, and he was on the front cover of it, and he got tossed aside like he was a little bitch, which made me go, okay, I'm not buying this comic. But the new Ghost Rider reboot, I actually bought that, and I was kind of enjoying it. It was disappointing that you don't really get to see Ghost Rider until the last page or two. But I actually kind of like the new design that they're going with him, that he's a gearhead, and that instead of the big badass motorcycle, which I will miss, but now that he drives this giant muscle car, I think it's kind of cool. So I'm really interested to see what else about him is different. And I like that you get a bit more of a touch with the human character too, mostly because of the fact that a lot of the other Ghost Rider comics that I've read, it was always more about Ghost Rider than it was about the human, Johnny Blaze or whoever it is. And I forget the name of the character who's the new representation of Ghost Rider in this universe. But I like what they did with him. I like how, he was, just a good-hearted guy. He was trying to do the right thing, and just trying to earn as much money as he could to help out this kid who, not really sure if he is his little brother or not, or just some kid that he feels responsible for. The other Ghost Rider comic is the Trail of Tears series that I bought, which actually takes place back in the Civil War, and Ghost Rider, he rides this gigantic evil horse, and he's just covered in death shrouds, and it was like, that was really awesome. And and the entire comic was just, it was just good. It was really good. So anyway, these are some of the comics that I bought. Some of them are new. A couple of them are old. This is the first one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Villains Shredder comic. I've read the one on, I forget her name. She's a Fox character. She's a mutant fox who actually works under the Shredder, and she was taken in, and she was raised and actually trained by Shredder. I like them because they're just straight up character pieces. And I really love that comic, so I'm pretty sure I'll probably really like this one. And I haven't really read any of these yet. I scanned through some of them while I was in the store. I didn't really read them. I was just sort of looking and then just briefly reading. So I'm like, okay. Well, it's free, so I can read it a lot more when I get home. This is an old one, and mainly I bought it because Ghost Rider's on the cover. Spider-Man Ghost Rider crossover, Revenge of the Sinister Six. So this was, and just judging from the art, this looks like something that was done in the 90s. And actually, it was only $1, so it was no more than it was back then. It was $1.75 back then. Oh man, yeah, comics have really changed in price. This brand new shielded comic that you can't even read in the store goes for like $4. Times have changed. So yeah, so there's this one, an oldie. God, that takes me back. And then this is another new one. I don't know how new this is. And I just realized that this is kind of a Hastings alternative cover, but at least it's a good one. The new Shadow comic. Again, I don't know how new it is. It's good. I was never too familiar with the Shadow. I did see that horribly shitty movie that they made in the 90s with Alec Baldwin and a very young Magneto. Woo, I did not like that movie. I thought it was a piece of crap. And the movie was actually recommended to me by my best friend Andy from the Other People podcast. And I believe we rented it over the weekend, and we watched it, and I thought it was dumb. I thought it was really dumb. Moving on, here's one I remember hearing about back when I used to buy a few of the old Wizard magazines that, kind of talked about, hey, this is what's new, and this is what's coming out. And I never really paid too much attention to it because, I was more of a looker than a reader when I was a kid. I remember hearing about this. I never read it. It was created by Leonard Nimoy, Prime Mortals. So I'm kind of interested to know what this is about. I guess it's made, or it was made by an independent comic book company, Techno Comics, back in 1995. This is comic number 1. I don't know if this is the very first official comic. I don't know how popular it was, or Also inside, game piece and trading card. I wonder, is that still even in here? That'd be hilarious. Oh, and apparently I paid about 4 cents more for this, because originally it was only $1.95. Now it's $2. Oh well. Hopefully it's good, or at least interesting. And then these are all a bunch of new ones that I bought. First up is Shadow Man End Times by Valiant. I was actually curious to know, is this the same Shadow Man from the original comics and then from those original 2 Shadow Man video games? Because I played those. In fact, I wasn't even aware that those games were based off of a comic book character who I later learned about. I'm like, oh, I wonder if the comic's any good because these games kind of suck. You know, and like there were parts of the game that were good, but then there was just so many bad spots where you got stuck or you couldn't figure out what you were supposed to do next or how to finish said mission or said quest. And just a lot of weird shit in general. So yeah, Shadow Man End Times is the subtitle in this one. Valiant. And this is one I'm familiar with. I first heard about this series, but this is obviously a different lineup of the series, because I bought XForce, the Apocalypse Solution series, and I really, really liked it. I really liked it. I thought it was really good. Hell, I read it in the span of like an hour or so, and that's as fast as I've ever read anything. And and so this is XForce, and this is number 4. Shit. I thought I was buying like book 1 of a new series, but no, it's 4. Shit. And there's actually a new team lineup. This time it's Cable, Marrow, and Mimi that I think is a computer AI. Phantom X and Psylocke are still in it. I really liked the Phantom X character. And then you also have Marrow, who's in it. But it says in here that apparently she was depowered. So, yeah, so a lot of shit has happened in the comics. Hell, I remember maybe a year or 2 ago, I was walking through the comic book section at Hastings, because I would frequently go there for a lot of my video game and movie rentals, and I saw like, oh wow, they got this huge wall of comics, nice. And I was perusing through, and I saw kind of a young X-Men comic that they had, and I was reading through, and one of the characters in there that they were using was Rogue, and I don't remember. I think she had blue or green skin now, because apparently something happened between her and Nightcrawler, and I just remember closing it, putting it down, and going, I missed out on a lot, didn't I? And I'm not going to have any idea what the hell is going on or what has happened, am I? So I kind of back away. It's usually when I try to go for a new comic, I try to go for the very first issue. Because usually at the start of a new issue, they'll at least kind of bring you up to speed within the first couple of pages. So there's that. There's a new X-Force. Sadly, though, this is book 4. Maybe I can get book 1 with my subscription. And then this is the last one. And just from reading it, it just seems kind of weak and kind of stupid. But I bought it because the lineup really got me. Uncanny Avengers Annual. It's a big ass group, and turns out it's kind of like what they did with the Titans and I forget the name of the other group, but it was that whole Hunger Games bullshit series that they did with the Titans, and they did it like right as they were starting the new Titans book, and it was just terrible and drawn out, and the villain was an idiot, and yeah, it was just bad. It was just really, really, really stupid. I mean, at least this doesn't seem as overly stupid as that was. And, I mean, at least you have a big group of established characters. The only thing that's kind of confusing at first is, why are they forcing to fight each other? And then they kind of force them into this false reality. So you got the original Avengers, and then you have these other Avengers, which is Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange, Man-Thing, I believe is this creature, and I'm not entirely sure about who the other characters are. But mainly I bought it because, is Ghost Rider now on the Avengers? That's pretty cool. Now, Ghost Rider is not the only Marvel character that I really love. I mean, obviously there was Spider-Man, and and naturally there was Wolverine from X-Men and such. And there can be a lot of other characters that I really like too. But he was, I don't know if he was the first comic book that I bought. It was actually probably one of the first two comics I ever bought was either Spider-Man or the X-Men comics when I was a kid. But that was kind of my experience of free comic book day that I sadly missed out on. So I'll be taking a look at these as the day goes on. I will also be trying to see about recording some more parts of my No Kills Let's Play on Deus Ex, The Human Revolution Director's Cut. It's quite a mouthful. And then I'm going to see about trying to record some more of Dragon Quest VIII Blind. I might see about trying to bring Andy back in. And we will probably record a podcast either today or tomorrow. I'm pretty frickin' tired, though. It's been a long day. So, and actually I've been tempted to ask, like, what new comics, be it from the DC or the Marvel reboot, that I know not a lot of people like, and I can certainly understand why. But what new comics, if any, are you reading, do you like, and are really enjoying, and would even recommend for some people? I've actually been asking both Linkara and Jason from Raid Select, like, what new comics are you guys reading that you really like, and that you would recommend? Well, I'm going to get out of here, and because I still got to finish up episode 3 of Sequential Saturday on Raid Select. So, I'll see you guys later. Take care.